Hello, my friends. Jacob's here one more time. Thank you all for joining me for Press and Play. Hit that like, will you? Before we even begin, you know why it helps? It helps more people come and watch this show. I'm not drinking any wormwood tea today. No, I'm sticking with the green tea. No wormwood tea, even though I feel like maybe perhaps I should be, because something on Twitter, people, they share the most interesting things. Middle of the night, I wake up, it's like 3 in the morning or something, and I go to my phone. I go to my phone, I hit the old Twitter app just to check to see how things are in the Twitterverse. First thing I see is, some WHO whistleblower talking about how there's like worms, eggs, and some kind of technology that's like an octopus, like the Kraken, inside the wackadoo. I don't know if any of that's real. I don't know if any of it's just what I said. Is that true? Today, who knows? We got so many things we could believe about anything, But if there's like a bunch of worms and parasites in it, maybe I should get back to the wormwood tea. I don't know. I did consider it, but I'm telling you, it just really tastes so disgusting. What a way to start, right? What a way to start. Did you know that there's an asteroid the size of like 69 alligators that's passing the Earth pretty close tonight, Tuesday? Can you believe that? Yeah, the willing witness tagged me and Donut and Marfugal and Dex on this tweet about these 69 alligators. What does it mean? You could say, hey, it's as big as this, it's big as a car, it's big as a bus. It's 69 alligators. That's what they do. My answer to willing witness was, I said, it's like TikTok. Like TikTok, that alligator, the croc, coming after the Lost Boys. Who knows? Who knows? So many weird things going on. So I don't know why they chose the 69 alligators. I'm not gonna try to make a joke out of it. I don't think I need to. 69 did. The numbers itself, it's funny to say. It's the looks like cancer, that sign. But there is some concern about incoming objects. All of these things are being discovered like very quickly. Like out of the blue. Oh, we didn't know about this one. Oh, so we're always learning about all these other things. I did videos a long time ago about this incoming planetary system called Nibiru. This like outside of Neptune, that area out there. But even if it comes in a little bit or gets a little closer, bounces things around, and a bunch of stuff comes heading towards the Earth. And I've always silently been concerned about something like that. We've talked about it in the last couple of shows about wormwood and all these things. But, 69 alligators, I'll take that. But it's going to miss us, so don't worry. This is if you don't have enough to worry about. This was a news release. A Russian aircraft just collided into a U.S. unmanned system in international waters. When Disclosed TV put that thing out, I think it was them, I, of course, retweeted and gave a little comment. I said, everyone calm down. Because, it's just another thing to get us all nervous. Let's get us all nervous. We were just worried about the 69 alligators a second ago, Jacob. Now you got us worried about, like, international incidents. This Russian fighter jet struck a USF MQ Reaper drone. You think of the Reaper, you think of, that sickle. The Reaper, the guy who comes over, Death, who comes over, waiting for you. Think of the Reaper. But, I think they crashed into each other. General James Hecker said, our MQ-9 aircraft was conducting routine operations in international airspace when it intercepted and hit a Russian aircraft, resulting in a crash and a complete loss to the MQ-9. And, of course, everyone on Twitter goes, oh no, the war is coming. I think that we got a lot of other things to worry about than that. And the thing most people are concerned with is the market right now. Everything that's going on with the banks. These fears are now going global and more people are panic-stricken over what's going to happen. But what really freaked me out was one of you sent me a really cool video from Tim Truth all about this stuff. Take a listen.
I had missed this until just recently, but on March 15th, 2020, when the world was distracted, look what the Federal Reserve was up to. It says, as announced on March the 15th, 2020, the board reduced reserve requirement ratios to 0%. 0%. Effective March 26th, 2020. This action eliminated reserve requirements for all depository institutions. This is the most absurd policy imaginable. So if you don't know, fractional reserve banking allows banks to lend out money and not have enough money on hand for all of the deposits that people put in. So if you deposit $100 at the bank, they can lend that out. And the Federal Reserve has been notorious for having very, very low reserve requirements over the years. But this takes it to the next level. They don't have to have a single cent for that $100 you put in their vaults for you to cash out later. This is absurd.
Almost as absurd as the fact that I was so focused on the word reaper that I couldn't help but think of that last plague of Egypt. And of course, you know, the reaper that comes, the angel of death that comes. I think the word reaper alone, you know, the reaper like the Undertaker. I think of the Undertaker. Hey, remember Trump? He came out to on his road. He was getting ready to come on back in his tour. He came out to the Undertaker's theme. Remember Dong, right? The Undertaker. Did shows about it where I was like, yo, if he's doing that, the Undertaker, a lot of death comes. A lot of death comes. And it seems like we have a lot of death that has come. If you've paid attention, you know, to some of the excessive death rates that are happening. The Dan just went in to see a cardiologist. You know, she's been having issues getting dizzy and everything else, and she had a brain scan, and it was a little strange, but they said, oh, could be this, could be that, but not to worry too much. But she went to the cardiologist. Cardiologist says, get this, you look like you're 35, so I'm not that concerned. See, yeah, he thought my wife was 35 years old. She's gonna be 50. Just want to point that out. But the Dan, you know, was concerned, so they're gonna do like stress tests, and they're gonna do a lot of other things. But we got a lot of that death coming around. And it's interesting because, of course, you know, I start off the show talking about this weird little thing that I see. Turns out, like today, seems like everybody's talking about the Muffin Man. If you didn't see my last show, Muffin Man, you should check it out. It's pretty funny. It's not really funny. It's actually pretty disturbing. But it looks like, you know, the people behind all this stuff that produced it and promoted it and, you know, made a ton of money off of it. Looks like the truth is starting to come out. Looks like they may be in for some trouble. Kind of like I said was going to happen, didn't I? Didn't I say when all this stuff started to happen, it would go? Didn't I say everything would happen and then one day it would all be exposed? And then you'd be like, whoa, you know, we told you so. We knew it all along. And you'd be excited, but in the grand scheme of things, maybe they were in on it all along. You know, see, like, I think these things, I always want to hope for the best, but I think these things because, you know, the Trumpsters, speaking of which, MAGA, which we know means, you know, witch in Latin, strange slogan for your movement. Witchcraft, which is interesting because Elon says, you know, maybe witchcraft can save inflation if he's the president, you know, which is probably what's going to happen because I said one day he would come back. It would be interesting, but he says he's very much against mandates for the schools and everything else. Had this little speech.
And I will not give one penny to any school that has a vaccine mandate or a mask mandate from kindergarten through college.
Funny about that, I, of course, thought to myself, he makes it sound like he's so, you know, dun-da-da-da. You know, what if the job's already been done? You know? Like, for a second, I'm not saying this is the case, obviously. You know, because maybe they're just meatheads. Maybe they all have good intentions. Maybe, right? We don't know. But we know now a lot of corruption's being exposed. But what if damage is already done, right? Damage is already done. So now you come on the scene and you're like, I'm going to be against this. I'm going to be against that. You were the guy that, like, he was the guy who kind of like, it was like warp speeded it. Him, right? He was the guy. He even brags about it. He's the guy. He's the guy.
And I will not give one penny to any school that has a vaccine mandate or a mask mandate from kindergarten through college.
A lot of strange and interesting things, of course, connected to Donald Trump. Done video after video after video after video about this stuff. But his new thing is a school choice program, right? He joins the pack of Republican presidential hopefuls touting education policies. He calls it the final battle. 2024, it's the final battle. Yeah, it's the final battle. It was ironic, 2024, you know what's coming out too? Wicked! Wicked, yeah, Wicked. You know, the Wizard of Oz, that whole thing, they have the Broadway spin-off about the witches. Wicked. It's going to be released on a Cyber Monday, which is like, would probably be around the same time that they'd be, you know, declaring the new president. Somebody on Twitter pointed out that the logo for Wicked, the W, looks like a trident. And it does. But he calls it the final battle. He seems to be in favor of private schooling. Seems to be like that's kind of where it's going, which isn't probably that great, but who knows? The internet, we've seen plenty of evidence to show that right now the education system's in shambles. We're very, very low on the totem pole. So it would make a lot of sense, right? We're going to overhaul everything. The whole world's going to be overhauled, people. But people that were bad, people that did terrible things, you know, corruption will be held to account. Which is interesting because right now it looks like the Treasury Department is finally given House oversight access to suspicious activity with the Biden family and all them. You know, it's funny when I tell you these things back in the day, and I say all these things are going to become big and, you know, the truth's going to be revealed and all that. And I say we're biding our time for the Trump of God to return, the resurrection after the fatal head wound, if you will. Not saying he's the Antichrist. You know, the Antichrist is within everybody already, but, you know, it's just, it is kind of interesting. It's almost like stories being played out, don't you think? So they will be investigating the Bidens. Treasury Department's given the committee access related to Hunter Biden and the Biden family. So this is pretty interesting stuff. Wrote to the Treasury Secretary Yellen in January requesting all of this information because it had been flagged by U.S. banks. We're gonna find out how corrupt everybody was. Remember my dream about the laptop and all that? Wait till all of this stuff blows over. Beware the Ides of March. Ides of March. You know, that's when they overthrow the leader. Like, I gotta tell you something. If life is a movie, which I think it is, if I was to rate the performance of these individuals, I would say they were just not believable. The characters weren't believable. Biden was not a believable evil villain. He's not a believable. It's almost like it's a joke. They had to give you the most bumbling idiot person on the planet, and it's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous. They made it so obvious. They made it so apparent that it was like from the very beginning. I told you. Jesus said, he says you can discern the signs by the weather, right? So you'll know what tomorrow is going to bring by the way the sky looks now. But he says, does anybody know the signs of the times? Is anybody paying attention to what's going down? You know, social media. By the way, I'm only now basically engaging in Twitter because Facebook really censors the heck out of me. So if you want to really be in touch with me, follow me on Twitter at Jacob71 on Twitter. That's basically primarily where I interact right now. I'm too tired to be all over the place. I just, you know, I'm a very simple guy. It's YouTube and this. So I hope you do that. But if you want to be, you know, connected to me more on a personal level, of course, Patreon, all of you, I thank you so much. I'm posting there. You'll get like thumbnails ahead of time now. I don't really promise much because it's really just, if you want to support the channel, that's a big deal. And I think, but you can always email me there. I'm always in response. My email's in the description of the video. All the merch, the God's Champion shirt, it's out, right? It's the coffee cup for God's Champion looks really cool too. I wish I had it right now. This is the Uranus of the planet. But all of these things are super helpful, and sometimes I forget to plug everything. It really does help. I mean, it's just me here and all of you. So thank you for everybody who helps and kind of supports the channel. And best way to do it, of course, is just please always hit the like and share it and leave a comment. Of course, if you hate the video, you don't have to like it. Just unlike it on your way out. But it helps because it helps the algorithm to recommend this video to more people. And I think on this channel, I think that it's been cool enough to sit back and watch and see how I said all this stuff was going to happen, and then here it's happening. And I know I'm probably not the only one. I know there's probably a lot of people that have kind of seen this movie play out, and we're coming to the close of it. It's gonna be interesting. 2024 is gonna be. I think that's like if there was a reset button, I think that's the one. Speaking of resets, Dr. Doom. Dr. Doom. He's the celebrated, because of course all the banks, right? The crash that I said was gonna come. It's just like it's a predictable movie. It's a predictable movie. Dr. Doom is this guy. His name's Rabini. He's a New York University professor. And he accurately predicted 2008. And he's basically saying that this is all a terrible thing. The feds are guaranteeing more than just 250,000 like they're not supposed to. He was really upset with this. He said, what is the logic of protecting depositors of Signature Bank, a bank that recklessly decided to jump into crazy crypto and bet the house on a bunch of Bitcoins? He said, it's like the mother of all hazards. And then it's like you're going to be rewarding scammers and crooks and human traffickers. He said this, criminals and con men. It's sickening, right? It is sickening. It's sickening. And that's why the wicked house of cards is going to crumble. It's going to fall. And I'm just hoping that the new system that takes place, because I know that God's going to protect us, so I'm just hoping it really is better. It really is better. But I'm worried that it might not be, But I believe that if all of us get together and we do the right thing and we're kind and we love each other and we encourage each other and we help people, I think that we may see things get better. Our faith makes it so. We could say to that mountain, be moved into the sea, and it will. So if we can say, love, that mountain of love, let it be cast into the sea of the ignorance of people, I say we're on to something. As well, we better be. Because I'm having a lot of weird dreams, and then I come on here and I tell you about them or I tweet about them. It gets me to think to myself, it's like, Lord, I want to say positive things out there. So I hope that all these things are working together for our good. Things are going to have to be different. I did say that we were going to be driven from our land. I did say that. And if there is a corrupt place on earth, maybe God is going to do everything he can to get the people to get out of that place and move them somewhere else, perhaps. I just hope maybe that place is in Long Island so that I get all the good vibes. We got to love our life. We got to think better. We got to think better thoughts. It reminds me of a chapter from my novel, The Calling, and I was just watching it today. Take a look. This is Thomas speaking. Everyone will stop to see an accident. They'll go out of their way to see another's loss and to speak of it. They look to find fault in people, never trusting, never loving, never looking for what is right. They'll talk more about what a person lacks than what a person has to give. They're lost today, doctor. Lost. They'll search high and low for pain, never once seeing all that is right in the world and in their lives. Why is it that we rejoice in telling people of the bad and yet get angry when others tell us of the good? Thomas asked sadly. She stretches her neck toward him, so her ears are closer to his lips. I don't know, Thomas, she says with bumps rising on her skin as if the cool wind had kissed her. A laborer and a lawyer die the same day. The lawyer had health and riches. The laborer was crippled from many years of work and had nothing but a small cot in a barn to call home. When the lawyer was on his deathbed, he said, I wish I had something to leave behind besides a list of criminals I'd lied for to help set free. The laborer said, who will care for the field when I'm gone? Which of these men loved the work they were given? The laborer, Felicia says. But what does that have to do with anything? She asks curiously. Thomas responds, the lawyer had the picture-perfect life on the outside. He had a large home, family, wealth, many possessions. But he was always looking for more and was never satisfied. The laborer, on the other hand, had nothing. He had nothing but the field he was given to care for, and he was grateful for it. On the outside, this crippled man looked hopeless. He was poor, always in pain. He had nothing but the ragged clothes on his back. But I tell you, this man is greater of the two because he found joy and purpose in what God gave him to do. He knew that without him, that field would surely die. He found a point to his life. The lawyer never saw himself this way. The lawyer was lost. And when he died, he regretted the life. And when he died, he regretted his life because he never once took time to smell the roses and to see all the beauty around him. Smell the roses. Look at your life. You've been blessed with so much. God is good all the time. And he's working everything, even the worst, for our good and for the purpose he put in all of us. We need to enjoy our lives. We need to, be excited and encouraged with what God's given us to do. Let's not wait for an atmospheric river to flood ravaged California to drive you out of the bad lands. Let's enter into the good lands, the good land of hope, and promise, and love, and joy. All right, I don't know. I love each and every one of you. Please do hit the like button, give me a comment, share it around. Tell you go to the Jacob's Ladder, and the links are in the description below. Get yourself some merch, and have the best day ever. I'll talk to you all soon. Bye-bye.
September 10th. Mars hangs closer to the Earth than it has in 6,000 years. Like the light that led men from the east to a child in a manger, it could well be a sign of good things to come. Thomas James shall be his name. The world will change because of him. In the small town of Bethel, in a time not unlike our own, a child with a great purpose is born. Years later, alienated by his peers and abused, Thomas suffers a devastating loss. When it appears he has nothing left to live for in the world, this is when his true calling begins. While trying to escape the sinister powers that be, a terrifying vision haunts him. Miraculous events seem to follow the peculiar young man as he struggles to come to terms with what he was born to do. The stage is set. The time is at hand. The truth will rise and a revolution will begin. The startling revelation of who Thomas James is, truly, will change the lives of those around him and set off a chain of events long ago foretold. There is more to this novel than one might think. Inside these pages hides a treasure just waiting to be discovered. So if you've ever wondered if there's more to life, or why it is we suffer, then this story will not only captivate you, it may just open your eyes to a truth that could set you free. Find out what is in us all that makes us heed the calling